Hi everyone, good afternoon. And anyway, I'm Stephanie again, and today I am going to continue the chapter 8 of the story, which is the Babysitter Little Sister Karen's New Year, written by Anne Martin. So shall we start? Okay, then Happy New Year. Party, yelled Sam. Let's get this New Year's Eve party going. Let's get the food, said David Michael. Our resolutions were over. The serious part of the evening was over, so we brought out some of our party food. Now what? Asked Andrew. Let's play games, said David Michael. Games that Nanny can play too, added Charlie. We played 20 questions and memory. Then I suggested a spelling bee, but nobody wanted to do that, so we played categories. Then Sam turned on the TV to see the New Year's Eve parties in New York City. At one party, a big band was playing. We began to dance around the living room, except for Nanny who couldn't and Emily who had fallen asleep. How could she sleep asleep when we're being so noisy? I asked. She's only two, said Nanny gently. Elizabeth carried Emily Michelle upstairs to put her to bed. What time is it? I asked. 10:30, Christy replied. Only 10:30? That night? The night seemed very long. The night seemed very long. At 11, Elizabeth made popcorn. At 11:30, Sam found a different station on the TV. There's the ball, he exclaimed. He was looking at the lighted ball way up high on tower or something. At 11:59 he said, that will start to fall. When it reaches the bottom, it will be the new year. Why? Asked Andrew. He looked confused, also sleepy. Sam tried to explain, but he didn't get too far. Daddy and Elizabeth were handing out hats. They put bags of confetti and piles of streamer on the coffee table. It's almost time, said Daddy. Soon TV announcer said, it's 11:59, folks. When 10 seconds were left, we counted backwards to zero. 3, 2, 1, 0. Happy New Year! Yay! Hooray! Everyone shouted and screamed and hugged. We threw confetti and streamers everywhere. The room was really noisy. Come on, said Daddy. Let's open the front door. We did. And all up and down the street we could hear people shouting, Happy New Year! And beeping their horns. It was exciting. But soon, Elizabeth said, bedtime. Before I knew it, I was in bed. I was very tired, but I couldn't sleep. I had brought some chocolates up to my room. Maybe they would help me sleep. I was reaching for one when I remembered my first resolution. I will not eat sweets. I drew my hand back quickly. I would have to remember to give the chocolates away the next day. Then a horrible thought occurred to me. I was up way past my bedtime. Had I already broken my third resolution? I decided I had not. Daddy and Elizabeth had given all of us permission to stay up until after midnight. But I realized just how hard it would be to keep my resolution. It would be even harder than I thought. Boo. So, that's for chapter 8. So, let's proceed to chapter 9. Caught Q. Guess how late I slept the next morning? Even 11 o'clock. I was really glad that I hadn't made a resolution about sleeping late. I would have broken it for sure. I got dressed quickly. I made my bed. Then I thought, what could be the nice thing that I would do for someone today? The answer was easy. I had already done it. I had made my bed. I don't always remember to. Then Daddy or Elizabeth gets cross and has to remind me. Feeling very proud of myself, I went downstairs. I was starving. Should I eat breakfast or lunch? I wondered. The first meal of the day is usually breakfast. but it all was almost lunchtime. When I got to the kitchen, Sam, Christy, Daddy, Andrew, and David Michael were there. They were sitting at the table. "Morning, sweetie," said Daddy. "Morning," I replied. "What meal is this?" "It's brunch," said Christy, grinning. "We're eating whenever we wake up. What's brunch?" I asked. "Breakfast and lunch at the same time," David Michael told me. Get it? Get it? Breakfast and lunch, brunch. "Yeah," I said. "Neat." Daddy served me eggs and fruit and a muffin. "What do you want to drink?" he asked. "You can have anything you want." Before I could answer, we all heard a loud burp. "Excuse me," said Sam. "Sam," I cried. "You've already broken your resolution. You didn't even keep it for a day. You didn't keep it at all. This is your first meal of the new year." And you burped. "Sorry," said Sam. He didn't sound very sorry. I really needed to burp. I drank my orange juice too fast. Besides, when I made my resolution, I wouldn't burp just to gross people out. "Well, you didn't say so." "Well, that's what I meant. "Okay, okay," said Daddy. Enough arguing. I didn't say anything else to Sam during brunch, even though he didn't burp again, but I had a plan. As soon as I finished eating, I went to my room and found a notebook. I turned to the first page and wrote Sam at the top. Underneath that I wrote, "January 1, Sam burped loudly at brunch." While I was doing that, I reached over to my chest of drawers. I felt around until I found a piece of chewing gum. I unwrapped it and put it in my mouth. I chewed slowly while I wrote about Sam. Then suddenly, uh-oh, I was chewing gum. "Gum is a sweet, isn't it?" I grabbed the gum wrapper and read it. "Sugarless gum," it said. Whew, I decided I was safe. If the gum was sugarless, then it wasn't as sweet, and I wasn't in trouble. But Sam was, and I decided I'd better keep an eye on everyone else. Maybe they wouldn't be any better at keeping resolutions than Sam was. I was glad my notebook was thick. It might need a lot of pages. I had the gum in my nightdress drawer. I knew I was keeping my first resolution, but if someone else saw the gum, they might not think so. So that's the end of the chapter 9. So let us proceed to chapter 10. Breaking the rules. There was a farmer had a dog and Bingo was his name. Oh, Bingo, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, it was the next day. I was so happy that I was still at the big house. I was in our playroom. I was pretending I was a farmer. I've had I have I had found a straw hat and I was wearing overalls and a check shirt. I was trying to make Shannon be my dog, but she didn't want to play. Ring, ring, went the telephone. "I'll get it," I cried. But Christy was saying, "I'll get it too," and she did. She stood in the hallway outside the playroom. I couldn't help overhearing her end of the conversation. "Hi, Bart," she said happily. There was a pause. Then Christy said, "No, I think it's too cold for a game. Anyway, it's supposed to snow on Monday." Yeah, what?" "The kids' hats." "Oh, there's bats. I suppose we could find some aluminum bats. That shouldn't be a problem." "No, it's a good idea. I'm glad you phoned." "Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye." Well, I couldn't believe it. Now Christy had broken her resolution. Our resolutions had been her idea in the first place. I ran into the hall. "Christy," I said. "Yes, Farmer Jones." "I'm not Farmer Jones." "And you broke your resolution." "What?" said Christy. "You broke your resolution. You talk about softball on the phone with Bart." "Well, I couldn't help it," replied Christy. She sounded huffy. Bart called to talk about softball stuff. When I made my resolution, I just meant that we wouldn't talk about softball. We were having a friendly, casual conversation. Because we shouldn't learn to talk about other things. But Bart had some questions. What I was supposed to do? Tell him he has to come round because I can't answer his questions on the phone. I suppose not, I said slowly. Sorry, Christy. That's okay, she replied, but she looked a bit cross. Christy went back to her room. I took off my hat, then I went to my room too. I found a notebook I had started. I turned past Sam's page. On the next page, I wrote Christy. Underneath that, I wrote January 2, Christy talked about softball on the phone with Bart. Honestly, people certainly were taking their resolution seriously. I decided to go over to Hannah's house. I wouldn't complain to her. Hannah always listens when someone complains. That's very handy. At the Papadakis' house, Lena let me in and told me that Hanny was upstairs in her room reading. I decided to tiptoe upstairs and surprise her. When I did, guess what I found? Hanny was lying on her bed reading a book. She was beating her nails. Hanny, I cried. Hanny jumped a mile. Karen, I didn't hear you come in. Hanny, you broke your New Year's resolution. You're biting your nails. Oops, said Hanny, but she didn't seem upset. When I went home later, I started a page for Hanny in my notebook. I wrote January 2. Hanny was biting her nails. So that's the end of chapter 10. So I hope you enjoy it. Bye. See you next time. Bye.